Ladies and gentlemen, after a week where Monday Night Raw was semi-decent, I was really looking forward to Tuesday Night Live, because I can always expect good things out of Smackdown and 205 Live. Now, not to say that this week's Smackdown or 205 Live were bad, but they were definitely lacking something. So, welcome to Tuesday Night Live. I'm Travis Colt. Let's talk about what happened this week, starting with Smackdown. We open up with Renee Young interviewing Becky Lynch about how she's finally back in the SmackDown Women's title picture. She talks about how she's fought for this opportunity multiple times, and she hasn't been champion since December of 2016, so it's closing in on 2 years where she hasn't been champion. So she's very much looking forward to this. She ends up getting interrupted by Carmella. Carmella comes out and does again very much the Alexa Bliss thing where she's trying to be nice and it's really all just a ploy. This one was done pretty well where she just got really emotional about WWE Evolution and being able to represent the women of the past and the women of the future and the women of the current roster and all that stuff. James Ellsworth's music played, and that was just that just allowed for Carmella to attack Becky Lynch. She was going to use a chair on her, or she was going to try and hit a DDT onto a chair. Charlotte ended up coming out and making the save. We go to the back. Carmella is in Paige's face, and Paige tells her to calm down, and that she shouldn't have done that. And so, if she wants to. She made the mention that, Charlotte came out, she's trying to stack the odds against me, and Paige said, well, you're the champion. You always had the odds stacked against you, which is why tonight you're going to face Charlotte, and if Charlotte beats you, Charlotte will be added to the title match at SummerSlam. So that ends up being our main event. But before we get there, we have the Bar defeat the Usos. So now the Bar moves on to next week to face the New Day. The winner of that goes on to SummerSlam to face the Bludgeon Brothers for the tag team titles. Joe sent a very intense message to AJ Styles after signing his name on the contract last week. Essentially saying that AJ has put the championship before everything, including his family. And so after SummerSlam, Joe will happily send AJ back to his family, and he himself will be the WWE champion. And we know that AJ Styles will return to SmackDown next week to respond to not only the contract signing, but also what Joe said this week. Jeff Hardy came down to the ring, talked about how the loss of the United States title affected him, but the most important thing on his mind was beating the hell out of Randy Orton, so he called Randy down. Randy did come down and was just about to get in the ring and looked like he was going to fight Jeff Hardy until Shinsuke attacked him from behind. There was an awkward stare down between Shinsuke and Randy Orton until Randy let Shinsuke hit a Kinshasa on Jeff. Another awkward stare down. Shinsuke ended up leaving. Then we continue the beatdown from Randy Orton to Jeff Hardy. And this one was a very interesting one because after he beat him down to the ring, took him out to the table, he then, he had a series of things that he did. He took the signature armbands off of Jeff's arm, ripped his shirt off, pulled the Hardy Boys necklace off, and then grabbed a water bottle and a ring towel and began to wipe the face paint away from Jeff Hardy, essentially eliminating his identity, which is a very... It's a cool little addition to the Legend Killer gimmick. That is the legend of Jeff Hardy, the Enigma. He's gone from Legend Killer to now... He's just erasing identities of these people that people love more than him, and it was a very interesting twist on the way Randy Orton goes about things. Very interested to see where this one goes. We had Zelina Vega defeat Lana. Lana was kind of in the driver's seat, and Andrade Cien Almas ended up, kept jumping up on the apron. Eventually Aiden English ended up running down, pulling him off, and potentially causing the loss for Lana. He ended up apologizing to her in the back, and she just told him, hey, you just need to need to stay away. You need to not be here right now. Rusev comes charging in, wants to talk to Aiden. Aiden runs away. Rusev checks on Lana, and Rusev's like, oh, if I would have been out there, none of that would have happened. And Lana's like, I understand you want to find out what's best for Rusev, but Lana needed you tonight. And so now was it Rusev's fault because he wasn't out there to take care of Andrade? Was it Aiden's fault? Did he cause it? There's a lot of dissension now within Ravishing Rusev Day, and I kind of like it because I think what this does is it kind of builds them back up. They're kind of building them into a stronger force. Like, they're trying to get the crowd behind all three people to bring them back to be a stronger unit. So I'm hoping that's what they're going for, and they're not ending up breaking them up. But regardless, it's an interesting storyline. Daniel Bryan came out and talked about what The Miz did last week in the final segment of SmackDown with the whole the baby and everything. Essentially kept saying that Miz constantly puts a wall of protection between him and Daniel Bryan. You know, the whole year that he kept calling out Daniel Bryan when he knew that Daniel couldn't actually do anything about it. And now, you know, last week Daniel could have, but, you know, Daniel thought he actually had his baby out there, so he couldn't attack him and all this stuff. So Miz constantly finding a way to hide from Daniel Bryan. We had Miz respond from the set of Miz and Mrs. This wasn't Miz's best promo, but his whole thing is that Daniel Bryan's career, the Daniel Bryan mystique is over. That there's no more yes movement. There's no more career for Daniel Bryan. So Daniel Bryan still did challenge him to a match at SummerSlam, but The Miz declined. So it's not happening yet, but it's more than likely going to be a match at SummerSlam. And then in the main event, Charlotte Flair did in fact defeat Carmella, much to the chagrin of myself, Becky Lynch, Carmella, and a lot of people that were just kind of hoping that Becky Lynch would beat Carmella. So, talk more about that in a little bit. Then on 205 Live, we had Kalisto defeat Tony Nese. Buddy Murphy ended up coming down and getting in Kalisto's face, shoved him around a little bit, but before he could do too much damage, Lince Dorado ended up coming out and saving Kalisto, despite he had a torn tendon in his thumb or something. They said it on commentary, and he had his wrist and his thumb all wrapped up. So Lince still saving his Lucha House Party member Kalisto. So it looks like we're going to be setting up for a tag team match. Not sure if Buddy and Tony are going to have someone to offset Gran Metalik, or if they're just going to, because Gran Metalik is currently in Mexico. So I'm not sure if Gran Metalik's going to come back and make it a 6-man, or if we're just going to have a tag team. But might be fun. We had a contract signing between Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak's main thing was saying that Cedric isn't as fighting of a champion as he says he is. Yeah, he's defended the title all over the place, but he's never... They asked, where have you been when the title's not on the line? You're sitting in the back, you're playing video games, you're letting everyone else wear themselves down while you stay fresh as champion. So, an interesting twist on the you're not a fighting champion, you only fight when the championship's on the line. Essentially, and then finally calling him that you will not, your legacy will be, you will become the Brock Lesnar of 205 Live. That's a little harsh. Leo Rush defeated a guy named Ricky Martinez. Ricky Martinez actually looked pretty good, but once Leo Rush kind of got into his Leo Rush ways, made very quick work of Ricky Martinez, saying that Ricky Martinez would hopefully put up a better fight than Akira Tozawa because he doesn't want to face Akira Tozawa anymore. So after he beat Ricky Martinez, Akira Tozawa came out, Leo Rush didn't want anything to do with him, Leo Rush walked away. So we're probably still setting up for that somewhere down the line. And speaking of the match between Cedric and Drew, it hasn't been said officially that it's on the pre-show. I'm hoping it's not. I hope it gets like a main card spot because I think it needs it. But still, cross my fingers. And speaking of Cedric Alexander, in the main event, he defeated the Brian Kendrick while Drew Gulak was a commentary. Cedric and Drew had a little bit of a stare down afterwards until Cedric was attacked by Jack Gallagher. Then it was almost a beatdown on Cedric Alexander, but Drake Maverick and a group of referees all came out, stopped Drew. Drake continuously telling Drew that if he even touches Cedric, that he's going to lose his championship opportunity. So, Drake Maverick saving Cedric, that's probably really going to play into Drew's, oh, you have it so safe, you're the champion. The fact that, Drake came out and specifically helped you. This is a good little touch, and I'm expecting Drew to use that in a promo in the next coming weeks. With that being said, I'm going to talk about some of my likes, loves, and dislikes. I already said I really like what Randy Orton's doing with the erasing of the identity. I think if they're trying to get him over as heel, this is a good way to start it. People were still chanting for the RKO, so I don't know if it's chanting for him or just wanting to see the RKO, but Randy Orton did a fantastic job of just straying away from it. Like, he kind of set up for it. He tried to get the crowd into it, ready to hit it, and then he just double leg take down Jeff Hardy and then just kind of stared at people like, what do you want? What do you want from me? And so that's a really good addition to it, that he's playing very heel. He's staying away from the things that people enjoy, except for the fact that people enjoy watching people beat the hell out of people. So the fact that he's beating the hell out of Jeff Hardy, despite it's Jeff Hardy, he's still getting a little bit of a pop for it. But I think the building of this heel character is really good. His way about fighting and facing people is very interesting, and I'm wondering if Shinsuke is going to continue to be a part of it. If they're going to do a triple threat match for the United States title. I hope not, because SmackDown can't keep doing triple threat matches. They already have the women's match. We don't need the U.S. title match to also be a triple threat. Let's just keep one or the other. I also really liked, and like I said, I talked about it a lot. I like the idea of what they're potentially doing with Ravishing Rusev Day, with the kind of splitting them apart to make people want them to come back together and be a much stronger unit. Again, that's a hope. I would really like it if that's the storyline. I can't guarantee it. If that is the plan, I like the way they're doing it now. So it's got a good build. I'm just hoping that that's the end game. And then for my love, 2 matches: Cedric Alexander versus Bryan Kendrick. Fantastic chemistry between the two. Great commentary from Drew Gulak on the side. Cedric and Kendrick are just 2 of the best on 205 Live anyway. So fantastic chemistry between the two. A good offset of styles, as well as a little bit of cohesiveness. Bryan Kendrick's not the biggest high flyer anymore. He used to be way more, but now that he's a bit more of a ground game but still has that athleticism, it adds for a really good match. And then also the Bar versus the Usos. The Usos continuously showing that they are one of, if not the strongest team on the roster, going against 2 powerhouses like Cesaro and Sheamus. This was a great comeback match for Cesaro and Sheamus. Watching them keep pace with and potentially upstage the Usos in some forms and fashions. It was just really good. Plus, which I'll kind of transition this into my dislike, because they had the New Day out there with their own commentary table. So, to have the other potential number 1 contenders out there is always great, and then to have them on commentary is great. So that added to the fun aspect of this whole situation. Transitioning into my dislike, the fact that they kept switching between commentary teams was really annoying. I was kind of hoping that because the New Day was out there with their table, that they would just completely take over the commentary as a whole. They started off, giving themselves nicknames, which was funny, and it was like they had this whole table. There was pancakes, there was bootios, there was all kinds of stuff. They should have just been able to take it over and just talk about both the Usos and the Bar, because they have history with both teams. But to constantly go back between oh, here's Xavier Woods saying a few things, but let's go to Tom. Okay, now we'll transition to Tom. Oh, Big E's saying something funny, but let's go over to Corey. It was really distracting, and it kind of took away from the interest of the moment. Started off great, ended up not so great. And then my other dislike is I just really wanted Becky versus Carmella. I will say Carmella had a fantastic match with Charlotte, but it is Charlotte. I want Carmella to keep proving herself in singles matches, because she's had a couple really great singles matches here and there, but they haven't been as consistent as a lot of people would like. And she's a heel, and she doesn't have to be the greatest wrestler, but she has moments of brilliance, and I kind of want to see more of that. And so I was really hoping to just see her versus Becky. I hope this doesn't mean that Charlotte's just going to take the title. I kind of hope what I'm hoping at this point is that we have this triple threat. Carmella ends up winning, and then we have maybe a short feud between Becky and Charlotte to see who is potentially going to face Carmella at Evolution. I think that would be great to finally have Becky win the number one contender spot from Charlotte, have a fantastic match there, and beat Carmella at Evolution, the first ever women's pay-per-view in WWE. I think that would be a really good touch. But again, for SummerSlam, you just got to try and throw everybody you can on the card. So it's still probably going to be a great match because I know Becky and Charlotte will tear it down, and Carmella has shown moments of brilliance with both women. So I'm not expecting the match to be bad. I was just really looking forward to a singles match. So with that being said, that is my thoughts, my likes, loves, and dislikes about this week's Tuesday Night Live. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, click the links down below, comment down below what you liked, loved, and disliked about SmackDown and or 205 Live, and do that every week. You can also check out our podcast where you get this review and all of our regular reviews in podcast form. You can comment over there as well. We love connecting with the people that try to check out our videos and our podcasts. And of course, there's Reasonable Wrestling Fans. It's reasonable with a W, like wrestling, where we have the list with Kevin Hawk, Question of the Week with Thomas Wolfe. We have unboxing videos, punishment videos, and other videos that are loosely based around wrestling. But for now, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next. The best part about Tuesday Night Live? They're not there, but fuck Modus anyway. Because they're on Raw. Fuck Modus again. One for each of them.